losses, and Tim Bontemps is in Philly for Game 3. So, Tim, do you think the Sixers really believe they can turn this series around?
They do. And Joel Embiid, after Game 2, sitting in the locker room, made it very clear, saying multiple times that he guaranteed the Sixers are going to come back and win this series. And Shanae, if you look at the first 2 games of this series, Philly feels pretty good, to use a word that's used a lot here, about the process that they had in those games. Obviously, the first game, they gave up a lot of offensive rebounds. That was a big problem and a big reason why they lost that opening game. But you look at the second game of the series, they dominated most of the game. Jalen Brunson's a combined 16 for 53 from the field. They have really controlled a lot of the game in both of these games, and they feel like they could easily be up 2-0, let alone tied 1-1 if they simply have a better 14 seconds in that final moments of the game in the other night in Game 2. So Sixers overall feel good. They're confident if they stick with what they've been doing, they could get not only a win tonight, but a win on Sunday and send this series back to Madison Square Garden 2-2 for a Game 5 on Tuesday night.
Yeah, but you just said it. The Knicks are up 2-0, and it's crazy that it's been over a decade since they've been in that position in a playoff series. They have to be feeling real good, especially considering that they stole Game 2. Now, if you're in your feelings about that, the league report backs it up. But, Tim, how high right now is their confidence?
Well, the Knicks today are feeling great. They were at Temple this morning shooting around. Obviously, they've got a few big 5 guys on their team in Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson reminded everybody there that Temple has not made a Final Four, whereas Villanova has a couple banners hanging in this building that those 3 guys won with the Wildcats. And Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo both talked about the fact that they don't think they've played their best game yet in this series. They pointed to the fact that Jalen Brunson hasn't hit shots. Josh Hart talked about the fact that they have struggled in transition and had several opportunities to score there that they let get away from them, particularly in Game 2. So even though they're up 2-0 in this series, the Knicks not only feel good about where they're at, they feel like they can even get to another level. And obviously coming down here to Wells Fargo Center, what's going to be a raucous environment tonight as the Sixers honor Tyrese Maxey, the most improved player in the league, before Game 3 tonight. The Knicks know they're going to have to play a little better to win one of these 2 games, take a commanding lead back home, and they feel like they can do that.
You know what I love saying? The Nova Knicks strike again. Thanks so much. Thank you for that.
Exactly.
I know. Joel Embiid, though, he says Philly can win this series, but when you watch him moving around the court on that injured knee, it's wild that he's been able to still average in this series 31 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. So, Ramona, how long can he keep doing this?
Okay, part of the reason he looks like he's lumbering out there, that he's laboring, is because when he was out with that knee injury, he's not able to train and be in condition the way that he normally is. So he's a little heavy right now and needs to get that conditioning back. That's why he had to play all 7 games. He also has a gigantic brace on, okay? So when you watch him, that's tough to walk with, that's tough to run with. I think he's playing his way back into shape. The longer they play, the better shape he's going to get in. And when he says things, you know Joel.
Yeah.
Okay. When he didn't just say we can win. He said we're going to win this series. And if I know Joel the way that we've all come to know him over the last couple of years, he doesn't say something like that unless he wants to. That's not a mistake. That wasn't like a oops, I slipped up and said something too far. That was him being a leader. That's him putting it out there, saying, guys, I am making this proclamation. He knows exactly what it means when you say I guarantee it. That's his name on the line. And so if he's going to say it, he intends to back it up.
And I also like that yesterday we heard Tyrese Maxey say, hey, we still feel reassured. There's an aura of reassurance in our locker room as well. But the fact of the matter is the Knicks, they maybe had a little luck on their side, some favorable whistles in Game 2. So, Scott, what's the key for them to really try to close out the series?
Look, the role players have been fantastic for the Knicks, and that's why they're sitting up here 2-0. Josh Hart's played fantastic. Miles McBride looks like the microwave of 2024, the old Vinnie Johnson. Isaiah Hardenstein, Mitchell Robinson. They are getting extra possessions on the offensive glass, especially late in games
that
where
pass right there is unbelievable.
Where Joel is labored.
Falling down and finding that in
Exactly. Where Joel is labored, they're taking advantage of that, and that is also, and they're getting to 50-50 loose balls that coaches always talk about. That is what's different. Now for Philadelphia, their support players have to do the job when they go home because they tend at home to play better. And I must mention Kelly Oubre and Nicholas Batum.
Yep.
They've done an awesome job defending Jalen Brunson, so they can't let up that. They can't let up on in that.
They
area.
need to get something from Tobias Harris, though.
And Tobias got to give him 20 points tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they say
gotta give
he's
him
the
20
second highest paid member on that roster? But you're right. The difference in the series so far has truly been the role players. They've been huge for New York. And it's really scary to think that they haven't had a breakout game for Jalen Brunson yet, who's shooting 29% in the series. So, Zach, what can they do to get him going?
First, every time you mention the role players, remember that Philly essentially sat out the trade deadline. They only got Buddy Hield. They got all those picks for James Harden. They didn't use them. And part of that, I think, was the mystery of when and what condition will Joel Embiid be able to come back from. So that's one story.
They did try to get Andre Drummond.
I don't know that that's changing their life in this playoff series. On Brunson, they should be worried that Brunson is shooting whatever horrendous percentage he's shooting so far. Because I actually bizarrely kind of like a lot of the looks he's getting, and they can get him switched onto anybody they want. So just one screen, now I've got Tobias Harris, aforementioned, instead of Nick Batum. This is a Jalen Brunson money look. Like, that's a 12-footer. He's open. He gets Tobias off balance. They can get Maxey onto him. They can get Tobias onto him. They can get Buddy Hield onto him almost anytime they want. And he's missing good shots. He's going to have a game where he makes a lot of shots. And if that game is tonight, the Sixers might be in trouble.
I mean, if I'm the Knicks, I feel pretty good that you've won 2 games without your MVP candidate having a breakout game. I mean, he went into the playoffs going 35, 39, 45. I mean, and he has not shot the ball well. I think their length has bothered him. I think the attention they're paying him has bothered him. But that hasn't stopped him all year, except in these first 2 games. And for him, he's still at 24. It's not like he's had bad games, but he hasn't had those 39, 45s that he was having.
They're just not efficient games. He's shooting a poor percentage. But again, I can't say enough about Josh Hart and how Josh Hart shot 51% from 3 in this series.
True.
And he shot 31 for the
No, they've been giving him the 3.
And that is their game plan. They're probably going to see if he can hit those on the road now.
But on a lot of nights, a lot of teams defend Josh Hart like this. Maybe not to this extreme. And on a lot of games, he won't take them. Like, credit to him. He's like, I got to take them, and I'm going to take them, and he's making them.
Yeah, the series continues to advance, and the NBA playoffs first round rolls on, too, with 3 more Game 3s tomorrow night on ESPN and the app. The Pacers between the Clippers and the Mavs. We capped the night off, though, with Timberwolves Suns, with Mini up 2 games to none.
Woo.
The Countdown crew begins our coverage.
Is there any kind of concern there with where he might?
Yeah, there's a little, for sure.
Is that something you're just treatment and see?
It's another holding our breath situation. So honestly, I don't know.
The Bucks waiting to exhale. Another good movie. Now, Zach, how much trouble are the Bucks in if they don't have Chris Middleton and Giannis tomorrow?
Never seen waiting to exhale. Never seen it.
I got you.
This is an easy one. A lot of trouble. Mucho trouble. Like, without 2 of their 3 best players, 1-1. Giannis is the best player on the team, going on the road against a team that has beaten you, I think, 5 out of 7 times now this season. Big DEFCON 1 level trouble.
DEFCON 1. Uh-oh, that's tomorrow. But let's focus in on the now, because it's a big day in the NBA with the playoffs. And